Sir, excuse me, sir, could you please pretend to be my daddy? Just for one day? The little voice startled Daniel. He turned and looked down to see a girl, maybe 7 or 8, standing in her worn school uniform, clutching a tattered bookbag. Her eyes, huge and brown, blinked up at him with hesitant hope. For a moment, the world stopped. In the middle of a bustling city sidewalk, Daniel froze. He was on his way to yet another corporate meeting. His perfectly tailored suit, shining shoes, and leather briefcase screamed success. But this child, with her simple plea, shook something in him that no boardroom ever had. Chapter 1: The Encounter. Daniel Blake was the kind of man people envied, CEO of a rising tech firm, early 40s, single, and entirely married to his work. His days were booked with meetings, strategy calls, and power lunches. His life was polished, precise, and emotionally empty. He'd stopped believing in feelings after his own childhood. Raised in foster homes, shuffling between families who never stayed, and teachers who never asked why he never smiled. So when the little girl tugged his sleeve, asking him to pretend to be her father, his first instinct was to walk away. "Kid, I think you've got the wrong guy," he mumbled, trying to move on. But she didn't let go. "It's just for today. For the school event. They said if no parent comes, I'll have to sit alone, again." Her voice cracked on the last word. He looked at her closely now, dusty shoes, scuffed knees, hair tied in a hurried ponytail. She wasn't begging for money. She just didn't want to sit alone. Against his better judgment, against every habit he had of not getting involved, Daniel found himself saying, "Where's your school?" Chapter 2: One Day Only. The school wasn't far, a small government school tucked between 2 rundown apartment blocks. She led him through the gate, all the while chatting nervously. "My name's Mina. I'm in class 3. Today's our family appreciation day. Everyone's mom or dad comes and tells about their job and brings snacks. And you don't have anyone?" "My mom works 2 jobs. She asked for leave but her boss said no. My papa, he left when I was 2. So it's just me." Daniel stood there, silent. The classroom was cheerful but modest. Children were gathered with their parents, doctors, barbers, teachers, everyone smiling, laughing, sharing homemade snacks. Mina pulled him to the front and introduced him. "This is my daddy. He's very smart. He builds computers and apps and stuff." He chuckled nervously. "Hi. Yes, I run a tech company. We design software that helps people connect." His short speech was followed by claps, and the teacher beamed. For a while, Daniel forgot the world outside. When the event ended, Mina offered him a samosa from the plate she had made with her mom the night before. "Thank you, sir. You don't know how much it meant to me." And with that, she turned to walk away. But something inside Daniel wouldn't let her go. Chapter 3: The Follow-Up. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. The image of Mina sitting alone in the classroom haunted him. He asked his assistant to look up the school and soon found out Mina lived with her mother in a crumbling apartment block near the railway station. A week passed. Then another. And then, on a rainy Friday evening, he went there. Just to check in, he told himself. Mina's mother, Shazia, opened the door, startled to see a man like him on her doorstep. "I'm sorry. I know this is strange. But your daughter, she's very special. I was wondering if she needed help with school or anything." At first, Shazia was suspicious. She was used to disappointment, broken promises, and men who never stayed. But Daniel insisted, tutoring, better school supplies, whatever they needed. He wasn't trying to take over. He just wanted Mina to have a chance. Chapter 4: A Slow Bloom. Over the next months, Daniel became a constant in their lives. He'd pick up Mina from school sometimes. They'd go for ice cream, visit the park. He helped her with math homework, and told her bedtime stories when her mother worked late shifts. With time, Mina started calling him Uncle Dan. But what changed Daniel the most was the little things, the way Mina beamed when she got a gold star in class, the way she hugged him tightly before he left, or the way she proudly told her friends, "That's my uncle. He's the best." Slowly, his cold, quiet apartment filled with laughter and tiny drawings taped to the fridge. Chapter 5, Old Scars, New Hope. Daniel began to reflect on his own past. The boy who never had a parent at a school event. The teenager who watched others get adopted while he was left behind. He realized he wasn't saving Mina, she was healing him. One evening, after a school play where Mina played a sunflower and shouted her lines with joy, she sat beside him on the curb, swinging her legs. "Uncle Dan," she said thoughtfully. "If you were my real daddy, would you stay?" The question hit him like a punch. She wasn't pretending anymore. He looked into her eyes, the same brown eyes that had stopped him months ago. "I would never leave," he whispered. Chapter 6, A Real Family. Daniel sat down with Shazia a few weeks later. He asked the hardest question he'd ever dared ask. "I don't want to take your place, or change how you've raised Mina. But if you'd allow it, I'd like to be part of your lives. Not as a visitor, but as family." Tears welled up in her eyes. She nodded. A year later, Mina stood in a new dress, holding Daniel's hand at a small adoption ceremony. Not for legal rights, just a symbolic promise. A promise that this time, someone chose to stay. Final scene, the real beginning. Years later, Mina would tell this story on stage, receiving a scholarship from Daniel's Foundation for Underprivileged Children. She'd say, "All I did was ask a stranger to pretend to be my dad for one day. But that day turned into forever." Message of the story. Sometimes the smallest voices hold the greatest power. One innocent request, one act of kindness, can change not just one life, but two. Because love doesn't always come from blood, it grows from presence, from promises kept, and hearts that choose to stay.